Welcome to Dig Deep, the mining podcast. In this podcast, we go deep into mining news, hot topics, and live interviews with mining professionals and leading figures in the mining industry. Introducing your host, Rob Tyson, founder and director of Mining International and Mining International Executive, a leading global mining recruitment and headhunting agency.
Hi, mining community. Welcome back to another episode of the Dig Deep, the mining podcast. And today's guest is Anthony Viljoen, who's the CEO of Andrada Mining, who are an explorer and producer of sustainable products of new technology minerals, including lithium, tin, and tantalum in Africa. With an agriculture, economics, and finance background, Anthony is a highly successful mining entrepreneur with over 20 years' experience in Africa. And he's here to tell us a little bit more about the history of the company and what the future lies ahead of them. So that's welcome, Anthony, to the podcast. How you doing, Anthony?
Hi, Rob. Very well, thanks. And yourself? Thanks for having me on the podcast, and hello to all your listeners.
Yeah, appreciate your time as well, coming onto the podcast, and obviously tell us more about the company. But before we go into that, I want you to just tell us a little bit about yourself. And obviously, I know it's clear. Obviously, you've got this is a family business as well. So I just wonder if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself, and maybe then we can speak about the history of the company as well.
Yeah, Rob. As a family business makes it sound a little bit small, but so yeah, we've been looking at prospecting and developing mineral projects across Africa for the last 20 years. Yes, the family element comes in that in the early stages, my partner and I partnered up with my father and my uncle, who were both professors of geology and had a very illustrious careers within the mining and geological space. I grew up in the mining industry. I grew up on the mines, understood how the industry worked, and was always interested in developing projects across Africa. So we did that very successfully. We've one of my earliest companies that I was involved with was Bushveld Minerals, and I was a founding shareholder and director of Bushveld back in the day. And at my time there, we took Bushveld from an exploration company into a producer of 5% of the world's vanadium. And while I was still there, we took it up to a 600 million pound valuation, and with Andrada, we're looking to do the same, but with tin and lithium and tantalum this time.
Obviously, I mentioned obviously your uncle and father, obviously involvement, obviously piqued your interest in mining. What was it that you, I suppose, what kind of advice did they give you, or what did you see from them that made you go into the industry?
So they always try to get me onto the geology side, which was quite an academic side of the business, but the commercial side is what really enticed me into the operations. How to convert an ore body into a profitable cash flow, and that's the side of the business that I liked, but it was a natural fit. That we could work together, with them doing the hard yards on the technical side and us doing the hard yards on the commercial and development side. So it was a good fit, and it's been a very successful partnership for the last 20 odd years.
And does your father still get involved in the business?
Yeah, unfortunately, we lost my uncle to COVID, but my father is very much so still. Comes in the office and mentors all the young geologists, and still has an active role in finding our next generation of mineral deposits. And
Amanda, which was obviously previously known as AfriTin, obviously evolved, spinning out obviously out of Bushveld. I just wonder if you can just run us through how that eventuated.
Yeah, so Bushveld was very much, and still is very much, focused as a vanadium producer, and we saw an opportunity on the back of the acquisition of the old West tin mine in Namibia we had critical mass, and we could demerge the tin assets from Bushveld, and there was a clear opportunity to float the company and start something new and something very exciting for the market. When I floated the company, I brought in-house all of my engineers and geologists that I'd worked with for a number of years, with a view of creating a team capable of building a mining company. And we've done that very successfully. We've built operations now. We've expanded the operations. We're looking at adding new elements to the operation. So, we really do have a strong core team capable of executing large scale projects.
Obviously, you mentioned listing on the AIM back in 2017. Obviously, with the increase in critical minerals, obviously has been significant over the last few years. How has that impacted your strategy?
Well, I mean, that was the whole genesis behind the change in name. We started off as AfriTin, and now we are Andrada Mining. And Andrada was taken from the name of José Benficio Andrada, who was a Brazilian mineralogist in the 1800s, who actually discovered lithium for the first time. So it has evolved. Our strategy has evolved, and that's off the back of the geology that we have found ourselves in Namibia. We started off just looking at the ore body from a tin perspective, but what we found that associated with this ore body was a number of different elements, and we found that associated with one of the biggest tin ore bodies in the world is one of the biggest lithium ore bodies in the world, with a smattering of tantalum to go with it. So it's a polymetallic ore body, which means that you get multiple revenue streams off one operation. So obviously that benefits the shareholders having access to a number of different elements, but also a number of different cash flows.
What were the main objectives in identifying a strategic partner for the lithium development?
We're seeing that globally the geopolitical situation is devolving quite rapidly. I think supply chains are decoupling from one another, and what we are seeing in the lithium space, in particular in the critical metal space, is that there's a lot of vertical integration all the way from mine to end users. And so we are looking to vertically integrate within that chain. We are looking at partners that are sort of further advanced in terms of processing the concentrate into a refined lithium product. And we believe that identifying a strategic partner that will give us access to that part of the lithium value chain goes some way in terms of establishing that vertical integration across the entire lithium value chain.
There seems to be a lot of M&A or talk of M&A in our industry at the moment. How would you say that will affect yourselves and I suppose companies within the African market, and especially in the commodities that you're involved in?
Yeah, look, there's always a time on the sort of commodity clock when the M&A bell starts ringing. We are seeing a lot of consolidation across assets. For us, we're growing a mining company here, so maybe there's an acquisition available for us. But yeah, look, it is that time of the cycle, which is good. Means that there is going to be a lot of consolidation within the smaller parts of the market, and I think that provides us with a unique opportunity to embark on the next phase of our growth as an organization.
Yeah. Obviously you're explorers as well. Is there sort of any other commodities or even other jurisdictions within Africa that you may have your eye on at all, or may look at further exploring?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we prospectors at heart. That's I think that's where, well, I know that's where all the next generation of mines are going to come from. I think that Africa in general has been very, very much underexplored. And as governments become more sort of conducive towards foreign investment, there are a lot more opportunities across Africa. Our focus has always been primarily on the geology, and then we get into the geography. So there are some very exciting geological locations across Africa that we have our eye on. But Namibia is the region where we in is proving to be so spectacular geologically. I think that in the next couple of years we will get more than one operation up and running.
You seem to have obviously started producing lithium and tantalum. I wonder if you can just give us an update on those projects.
Yeah, it's been quite an exciting year from that point of view. The operations are profitable at the moment, but opening up this lithium and tantalum side of the market is really exciting for us. We've built the plant. We've produced our first couple of tons already or tens of tons of lithium. And what that allows us to do is test our product with a number of different off-takers across the entire lithium value chain. There are other uses to lithium outside of just batteries, and the quality of our product allows us to sell into a number of those different markets. So it is a new page for us. It's a new industry that we believe we can be at the forefront of in Africa. And tantalum, we won't be producing large numbers of it, but it definitely adds a nice little spice to our revenue mix.
Yeah, I was going to say tantalum. I don't think we've had anyone on the podcast that has been mining tantalum. I wonder if you can just tell us what's that used for.
So tantalum is typically used in all of your mobile applications, specifically your mobile phones. So every phone has got about 1 gram of tantalum in it. So it's a superconductor. So it's used. Its primary use is in electronic goods. So it is a critical element. It's because it's not used in large quantities, not spoken about, but you're getting up to about $150,000 a ton of the stuff. So it's a very valuable commodity, and it's not mined on a large scale. It's typically only mined as a byproduct, which is why it's probably so valuable. And it will be a valuable addition to us, but unfortunately we won't be able to produce it on a large scale like that. But it will definitely add a few extra bob to our bottom line.
Yeah, and especially if it's a critical mineral, it's obviously needed, and no, it's good that you're working in that space. I wonder if you can just tell us a little bit about the management team.
Yeah, so as I said, we're very lucky to have attracted a very high caliber of mining engineers, processing engineers, metallurgists. So I've worked with a lot of my team for a number of years before Andrada, and we always had a vision of creating a mining company around our assets. So and I think that's going to be a real problem in the mining industry, is finding capable people. It's no longer sexy to be involved, to go into a mining career. So your pool of people that you can draw from is going to be relatively limited. So I think our unique in-house capability in terms of being able to execute large-scale projects is something unique. In addition to that, we've also attracted a really high-profile board of directors. Guys like Terence Goodlace, who's a 40-year senior mining veteran, was chairman of Kumba, sits on the board of Goldfields. Mike Rawlinson, who's ex-head of global resources for Barclays. Lawrence Robb, who's a professor of economic geology at Oxford University. These are really high caliber. I use the term grey hair very loosely, but guys that can guide us, with their experience. So you got a really competent management team that's capable of executing large scale project, guided by a really strong board of directors. And a world class asset base. We've got all the right ingredients here to grow something special.
And what's the, I suppose, vision and longer term strategy for Andrada over the sort of longer term?
Yeah, look, it's definitely to build a significant producer of critical raw materials. not only from one asset, but we want multi-mine, multi-commodity revenue streams. And obviously we want to get to a point where, as quickly as possible, where we can reward our shareholders' belief in us with paying healthy dividends.
And lastly, is I suppose concluding, what's the sort of short-term 6 to 12 months outlook for the company? What are you looking to achieve? And is there anything else you'd like to add to the content for our audience?
Yeah, so look, Rob, we are going through an incredible period at the moment. The first couple of years of the hard years of putting a platform together. But, this is where things get really exciting for us. It's the growth and expansion phase. We've really worked hard to put a couple of key elements into place this year. And I think that a lot of that work is going to come out into fruition in the next 6 months. Lithium revenues, increased exposure to other license areas, metallurgical work updates, and, growing the company from its space into something that will be a pretty sexy investment opportunity. So we're pretty excited as a team. This is not a lot of companies get to this point, and so now this is where the fun begins for us, and hopefully for all of our investors that come along for the ride.
Yeah.
What I would mention definitely is Namibia is a fantastic investment destination. It's probably the best destination to invest in Africa. Also a great place to visit. The government are really progressive in terms of encouraging investment. It's a mining jurisdiction. Some of the biggest uranium deposits in the world are there. They understand mining. They've got a very highly educated mining human resource in the country. So it really does make things a lot easier to operate in a environment that welcoming, and we really want to trumpet what a great place Namibia is to invest in and to visit.
Yeah, Anthony, really appreciate your time. Thank you for giving us an update on Andrada as a company, and obviously explaining your history with your obviously uncle and father. If our audience wants to reach out to you, if they want to follow your story, following obviously any news updates, how can they go about doing that? What social media platform channels are you on?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter personally. Sometimes gives the investor relations folks nervous time, but the company is on Twitter. We are on LinkedIn and on Facebook. We've also got a YouTube channel that gives regular updates and videos of our progress. There's some really spectacular views of the mine there, and so we're very proud of what we've built. So very happy to share that. And then there's also on our website you can get in touch with our investor relations team, and obviously Tavistock.
Yeah, well, we include all those in our show notes, the company, so people can have easy access to that. And I'm sure that they would want to have a look at your videos on YouTube as well, especially if it's showing the mine in operations. So yeah, they'll be included in the show notes.
Okay, fantastic, Rob. Thanks very much. Thanks for your time and for all your listeners listening in.
Yeah, no, and appreciate your time. Obviously, wish you all well for the remainder of the year, which is only a few weeks left, going into 2024. And yeah, happy to have you on the show next year sometime and give us an update.
Look forward to that. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Please, as always, I appreciate your continued support. Please share this episode far and wide to everyone that you know within our industry, but also obviously people outside of our industry as well. It's important that we, I suppose, send the message out that mining is a wonderful industry. It is improving its brand. And we can only do that by your support and by sharing content and information to the masses, and not just within our industry. So really appreciate you for listening. And until next time, happy mining.
Thank you for listening. Remember to reach out to Rob via the show notes and be sure to subscribe and leave a review. Until next time, happy mining, helping each other to improve the mining industry.